Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions, to this holy circle of light, to celebrate that everyone can hear Jesus. That's our function. Our function is to hear and speak Jesus, and to move back past the conceptual idea of what Jesus is. Jesus is the light within all, the voice that speaks to us throughout the day, that representative of the part of our mind that remembers that we're whole, holy, and complete. And what he's giving now, the simplicity of just looking and joining with him and be guided with him at which objections, which miracles to perform, because he knows where the objections are to the light that's already here and the light of divine being. We start with the light. Is the light already here in our direct experience as light beings? Infinite, unchanging light. As he says in a new covenant, no waiting, no take a number, it's here now. Look with me. Look with me to see it's already here. This is our home. Rest here, he says, rest here. What could be greater than just resting as what we already are? So he's just reminding for the circles to go into that very still, deep contemplation. Lay aside everything other than this deep contemplation with him. Just to drop down below cares, worries of the world, any kind of ideas that arise. Does the light get involved in any worries of the world? Does the light have any worries? Infinite, unchanging light. Looking for a problem, trying to find something to worry about. Does it have a story to tell? Infinite light. Does it have a story in our direct experience? Getting to know the light. We're so used to saying no to light. The habit of saying no, we were laughing about hatching out the little I can't know why I can't say that word. We're hatching out little dinosaur eggs, we just hatch them. Here's a little thought and hatch it out. Look how cute that little thing is. And it keeps biting us. We're incubating those thoughts and holding them so very dear. We let thoughts own us. We sell ourselves to thoughts. Here, you can have me, take me all day long. Take me on a ride all day long as though this world is real. Is the light taking a thought ride? Does it like jump on a thought train? Or is it just here? It's just here. We can all hear it. See, that's how come we know we can all hear. It's the symbol in our minds of this infinite love that's shared by all. The light. The only thing that's shared. Is there anything else shared in the light of divine being? Is there anything else shared? It's the only thing that's shared. We try to share thoughts. Here, let me toss out a couple of thoughts, and then you can compare those to a couple of thoughts you're having. Then we'll look at a bunch of thoughts, and then we're going to try to join through a thought. Let's ask the light, is it possible to join through thoughts? See, the thoughts cannot join. Thoughts are not what's joined. He's just using thoughts of God, to point back to what's already joined. He's using thoughts of God to point back, these higher order thoughts of God to point back to what's already joined. And then we're jumping on the joining. Everyone's jumping on the joining. This is a whole new train. The train that has no thought. The train of infinite, vast silence. The train of joy, infinite joy. And then our only function is to express divine light, express divinity. And that is saying, hearing his words, following his words, asking him questions like little children. And someone said that yesterday. It's like being a little child. Yes. That's the expressions that are coming out of our, it's just so, so beautiful to hear that voice for God coming through us all. And the wisdom and the grace and the insights where A Course in Miracles is alive. We're alive, like Teresa said. This is alive. A vibrancy that's unknown when we are trapped in the idea of who we are. Feel the aliveness of light. It's alive. Everything's alive. It's totality. A life that's not of a body. Is the body alive? We'll be honest. It has honesty of God. We can never be happy as long as we believe the thought that we're a body. Ask the light. Can we ever be free with that idea? It's so embedded in our mind is the truth. Feel the lightness of being. We're light beings, the being, the one. So in celebration of that, we're joining to take a look and starting with the light at today's lesson. To be pointed to beyond words. The point. Can the light be described? Not even perfect happiness can be described. It's beyond description. See, we try to use words to just sum up everything. I'm having fun. Can that word really describe the feeling? Yet the light's beyond fun. The light doesn't even know what fun is because the light is joy. The light is happiness. The light is peace. We can ask the light all these things. And then we can ask, am I peace? Is my true nature peace? And here the light says, is my true nature supreme happiness? See if the light says no to that one. Do I know what sadness is in the light of divine being and honesty of God? Can sadness be found? Jesus assures there'll come a time you won't remember, you won't have a clue about what that is because you don't have a clue. We just think we have a clue through the investment in desire. So we'll go through the lesson. I can elect to change all thoughts that hurt. He's showing us directly. I can elect to change. Therefore, I have elected not to change all. So let's just ask him, Jesus, is there any desire below my level of awareness not to change the thoughts that hurt, to keep them somewhere? Show me the places where I'm going to keep those. Hang on to the hurt thoughts. Show me where I have a desire for the hurt thoughts and see what he says. Is there any desire for hurt thoughts? I'm willing to see the infinite in that little fragment that I tried to fragment out, slice that out, make myself feel small and tiny and like the world could hurt me. We'll just look directly. Show me where hurt is in there. Show me that desire for experience below my level of awareness that I can be hurt. That's how the ego works. There's a feeling that rises up and it takes a little stapler and it staples on. This means this. And then instead of looking directly, a story, thoughts around it. It is because I was hurt when I was little. We watched I Am David movie last night. And it seems in the storyline that there's a little boy. It looks like he's about 12 maybe. And he's in a Hungarian prison camp after World War II. I can be hurt because it goes to because I'm in prison. When there is a decision well before going into that prison to have an experience of being hurt, then it manifests. I can be attacked, manifests. That's how powerful our minds are. Loss is not lost when properly perceived. Very interesting. In the light of divine being and honesty of God, is loss possible? See that loss isn't actually possible. So we can only look at the light, doesn't know what loss is. So we have to see with Jesus and ask him, Jesus, will you show me how I'm misperceiving loss, the desire for an experience of loss, the misperception of loss. Can you show me that below my level of awareness, the wanting of it as experience? Just be with the wanting. We don't have to experience loss. We just have to admit we want to experience it. So he's not asking us to go through all the emotions of loss and I feel lost. He's just saying, come below it, below the feeling to the desire, and just be with that. The wanting, I don't want that loss. And you start to see, oh, there's an itch there. And let it go, infinite. Help, let Jesus, will you show me, transform that? That's the miracle. The miracle takes that feeling, that desire to miscreative use of the mind, to make little lost adventures. Am I making lost adventures for myself? Ask him. No, I don't tell. Jesus will tell you directly. Okay. And then let that rise up. You can feel it sometimes in your knees, you know, in your bones. It's like, oh, yeah. And be with that. Is it time for a miracle yet? No, I go, nope. Because it's not full admission. Admit it. I admit I want this loss. Okay. Jesus, have I fully admitted it? See, taken full, not ownership, not in a guilty way. It's before guilt. Desires before guilt. And just go, okay, yep. Okay, is there a miracle in that change in perception? That energetic release. Jesus, can loss occur without my desire for it, that feeling? And here's the answer, no. You're going, wait a minute, what's been happening all these years? I've been desiring it. Okay, so when we go on to the next thing to ask them about, pain is impossible. Okay, we'll look at pain again. There's such a strong wanting pain, project outside of ourselves. Let's ask the light, is pain a projection outside of ourselves, trying to prove there's something outside? Here what the light says, yep. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So we just look, Jesus, is there any desire below my level of awareness to make pain possible? Try to tell God, no, you're wrong. I'm going to have pain. See what he says. Okay, and just admit it. I want it. And just be with the wanting of it. No kerfuffle, no argument with the source, which pain is an argument. Let's ask, is pain an argument with source? Feel the smoke rising, just sit with it. Whatever, however it looks, okay. So instead of following it to go, oh my gosh, I need to do something, we just go, Jesus, show me. I'm in pain. Show me the desire for it below my level of awareness. Just fully let it bloom and okay, yep, there it is. I'd like a miracle, please. Show me where I'm holding on to twitches and pains and aches, and it's avoidance. It's avoidance of looking at the light. That light's all there is. This pain is just avoidance. Avoidance of divine light. Oh, here we go. Thank you, Jesus, for showing us through that. every twitch. There is no grief with any cause at all. No grief. Okay, Jesus, I'm willing to look. Show me the desire to give grief cause. Can grief happen without us giving it cause, giving it the reason? See, we give it a reason. It has no reason. Does grief have any reasons in the light of divine being? The ego has one. Ego has one called do not look. Do not look to see. Well, you know, it's the, you know, we talked about 13th floor and he's driving along and they're starting to drive through all the barricades. Grief is the barricade. Don't look. Pain is the barricade. Don't look. It's the excuse not to look. Loss. Excuse, don't. So now we're just here in the, again, the Starship Enterprise. Instead of shields up, it shields down and asks Jesus. So that little red thing then becomes the pain or any of that goes, ask Jesus first. That's the signal. Ask Jesus first. So let's see. Jesus, is there any desire below my level of awareness to indulge in? He'll say it's an indulgence. Ask the light. Is grief an indulgence? Whoa, that's a new look. Is pain an indulgence? Is loss an indulgence in what does not exist? He's telling me, you're invested in this. He'll tell you too. He'll tell you you're invested directly. Jesus, am I invested in experience of grief? You're grieving. He's saying you're grieving for what you can never have. It's grief for not being able to be separated. The argument. I want to be separated. God, grant me my wish. And see if the light, is the light going to be able to grant us the wish to be separate from light? So we just look at grief. Plainly, simply, directly, the desire. And see the kinesthetic that you feel. See how you feel even saying the word grief or any of these sadness. And see, watch the consciousness, the play in consciousness is going to go back into the filing cabinet. See, consciousness hangs on to things. It's a little filing cabinet for thoughts, ideas, and pictures. So when we say grief, you'll just watch it and it'll go back and it'll find a time when you were just crying your eyeballs out. Funeral, someone left you. See, it goes in there and it's going to find, see, here's where grief is real. It's back in this picture here. It's when I was born, grieving for loss. I can show massive. It's okay to talk about this. Yeah. So yeah, there was grief in the storyline here when I was in utero with my mother, when my brother died, older brother. He was like 6 months older or something. So I was 3 months or however that works. Like, you know, that was a play. It was a play to make grief real. You left me. You were supposed to be here with me on this earth. That was the grief actually is way before that. The grief is a decision in mind to experience grief. And then, okay, then this example arises in consciousness to prove it. There is no grief with any cause at all. Can the light find a cause for grief? You know, all the beliefs in the world. Grief has, when someone dies, grief has, I don't know, 6 stages. I can't even do that anymore. You have to go through this grief, and then it's going to get better here. Jesus is saying, you know, as I told the story, I'm reminded of it again with Jesus, you know, when my aunt died. And I was walking around the house going, oh my gosh, this is the story. Listen to the story line go. I'm not going to see this again. And it's all looking at objects, see, trying to find loss. You know, we won't have this experience. I won't be able to come to her house. And then somehow there was no came up in my mind. No, I don't want to do this. And lay down, ask for another way. I don't even know what I asked for, but obviously at a deep level asked, no, to see this differently. And it was like 30 seconds gone. Let's ask the light if that's possible for every single thing that arises in consciousness. Is that our object power? Just no. That's the speed of correction. No working through it. I was at perfect peace the next day. Perfect peace at the funeral. Perfect peace. This is what Jesus is promising. That was the clue. As I told Christy that was just like the clue. Wait a minute. We don't have to. This is not what I think it is. And suffering of any kind is nothing but a dream. Let's ask the light, check in. Is suffering of any kind a dream? Hear the light. That's Jesus' voice talking. A dream. So we ask, is there any desire for suffering you can show me below my level of awareness to dream suffering? I'm willing to see it. I'm willing to see that I really want this dream of suffering and ask for a miracle. This is the truth at first to be but said and then repeated many times, and the next to be accepted is but partly true with many reservations. Partly true. Is the truth partly true? Reservations is to hold back, reserve. I'm going to reserve a little piece of this pain, a little piece of this thought through being doubt thoughts. So we ask Jesus to show us the doubt thoughts. He knows where they're hidden. Then to be more considered seriously more and more and finally accepted as the truth. He says, you can do it now. That's for me, for sure. No waiting. He's going, no waiting line anymore. Ask me. Ask me if you do indeed want to have any reservations about who you are. See, any reservations on what he's telling us in a course, like, whoa, I'm not ready to look at that timeline. You know, like when they're playing chess and they have a chess game and they have that little timer in between them. It's pop the timer. Reservations. I want reservation. Jesus, I want to prove to you to prove to me I'm the light. Push it, hit that timer. No, we're going to go a little bit more before I'm convinced. Is the light ready to be convinced that it's already light? The light's not waiting. It's consciousness playing to wait and finally accept as the truth. I'm willing to see what I denied because it's true. Once however that appears in consciousness, I can say how it appeared here. Who am I talking to? You know, divine expression. It's divine expression talking to divine expression about divine expression. When we're talking Jesus, that's all we get. That's supreme happiness all day. You see the light, you speak the light, you are the light. It's very simple then. Be the truth. See, we can't not be the truth. We can only pretend not to be the truth. We can only pretend not to be light. I can elect to change all thoughts that hurts. Let's ask the light. Is it possible to elect to change all thoughts that hurt? Jesus says, give them to me. I'll show you with immediacy, startling clarity, these things do not exist. And I would go beyond these words today and past all reservations and arrive at full acceptance of the truth in them. Can there be partial acceptance? Does the light have a partial acceptance plan? Does the light have anything partial? Infinite light. Is it? We're looking in there. Jesus, is there any partial? And hear his voice. No. Any partial is a fragment. The light's not fragmented. It doesn't have partial. It doesn't know what that is. You don't know what that is. See that you don't know. Because the ego will make this a conceptual, these little conceptual things. It will make, that's the function of ego, to make truth partial. The truth by the ego's plan, as the ego sees it, as the desire to deny divinity wants to see it, rather than look directly and go, okay, oh, geez, you're right, Jesus. Happiness is you're right, Jesus, about 1,000 times a day. That's what happiness is. You are so right. The light is right. Father, what you have given cannot hurt. Are we given light? We are light. We're given as light. In the light, is hurt possible? That's the contrast. He's giving the contrast. Light, hurt. The light doesn't know hurt. We must need forgiveness for hurt. If we believe, if there's any, those pictures flash back, we're watching a movie, we feel a contraction. There's still a desire there to play, to try to bounce out of the light. Say no to the light. All these things, no to light, no to light, no to light. Cannot hurt, so grief and pain must be impossible. Is grief and pain possible in the light of divine being, divinity? These things will fall away. Does divine light know what pain is? We know it doesn't. It's trying to project out of a body. Prove a body exists and that we're helpless, he's saying, he's reminding me. It's a desire to feel helpless. So just be with him. We've all, everyone's felt it because we've all been around the consciousness play block. Everyone. It's just that the difference here is Jesus doesn't say you got to live with that. That's just what happens. You're going to stub your toe. No, look at the desire to stub your toe. Ask them here. I stubbed my toe here a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, and I was like bleeding and all this sort of stuff. And I'd go to Jesus, show me the desire to, because it seemed to be appearing in consciousness, stubbing my toe. That's a desired experience for pain. See, there's an assumption you're just going to bump into something. And then it's going to be, no, that's cause and effect. See? And it's just going to cause pain. And that thing hurt too. It was, we know that. We've all had our toes stubbed. Just look at Jesus. Let's ask him right now. Is stubbing your toe and it hurting a desired experience? Does light say no? Jesus, show me where below my level of awareness I have a desire for this experience. Avoid my feet or whatever that, he's saying like it was avoid feeling the feet. However it appears, it's all equally untrue, but somehow, it's this little fabrications of all sorts just floating below our level of awareness, little fabrications that's going to show up in consciousness, going to express so we can have that experience. Do we have to have those experiences? Let's ask the light. Is that required? Is that in the book of the light saying, okay, you're going to have to stub your toe and it's going to hurt? See, that's not. The light doesn't have a plan for us to stub our toe and have it hurt or any kind of owies we talked about. Does the light have an owie plan? You're going to have an owie to wake up. Ask the light. Let's be sure. Because that belief right there, that you have to have an owie to wake up in a big dark night of the soul, let's ask the light that. I could see that was, I'm asking, yes, I was asking Jesus, because there was a very dark seeming time for quite a while, desired experience. You may not see it till you're out of it, but find a mighty that doesn't believe in it, that can help you look at every belief. It's going to be a dark night of the soul. And yeah, I mean, there was a mystic that said, oh, is telling a story. It's a story. I'm asking Jesus already. Yes, it's a story. I was in fear for 3 days. Desired experience to be in fear for 3 days, not to look with Jesus. It was a desired experience not to look. Ask Jesus that so we can all hear it. He'll tell you. Look at the desire for the experience. Go below the fear. Let's ask Jesus that. That's a good one. If I'm at the level of desire, can I feel fear? Hear what he says. Can it manifest? It can't, because fear arises out of desire for it. So if you stay with him, and you can watch in that video, Teresa, it's so beautiful. She has a talk with Jesus about a dense layer of fear. He tells her there's a dense layer of fear. Did she have to go to the fear to see through the fear? We do not have to go to the experience of fear to see through it. Ask Jesus. Do we have to go to rage and experience rage to move through it? We have to recognize and admit the desire for it and ask for a miracle. That's it with him. Just admit it. Oh my gosh, I want this rage. I want this fear. I want these twigs. I want to stub my toe. I was really mad too. No, I wasn't mad actually so much. I think that was because you start knowing. It's like, oh my God, that hurts. It's like, really, that hurts. But then you go, okay, I'm looking like right now. Because this will appear, because you start onto it. It's like, this is going to appear in consciousness again. It's going to come up again. Let's look at it right now. So it's like, okay, that's acceptance, the power of divine being. Let me not fail to trust you today, accepting but the joyous as your gifts. Dun, dun, dun. Together we get to do this. These joinings are getting so much fun. So light and light, playful. You're going to laugh. So many times I'm joining with each of you and you're going, what's Jesus saying? He's laughing. So, let your heart be light, accepting but the joyous as the truth. Is the truth joyous? So we're truth. So we're joyous. Does the light have any exceptions to joy in it? No exceptions. That's the dun-dun-dun dreaming. That's the dreaming. I'm looking down at the laptops here. That's the dreaming. Dreaming of suffering, pain, a body, something out there, someone gonna get me. Sacrifice, dreaming of sacrifice, dreaming of death. It's all death. Is it all death? Let's ask the light. Is this all a dream of death? Is this all a desire for death? Try to kill the light. Find a way to kill the light without being able to kill the light. It's good to admit we can't kill the light. It's really helpful. Hey, that light can't be killed. What am I doing? What am I thinking about here, Jesus? You're dreaming. He'll tell you. He's dreaming. So every twitch can be used as an alarm clock rather than a snooze alarm. Snooze. It's now the alarm clock. Wake up. I'm dreaming. Ask the light that. Is every twitch a dream? Falling into the dream. The denial of divine light. Thank you. I can elect to change all thoughts that hurt. See the power of that. See the freedom. I will not be bound by my thoughts today, as this is not the Father's will for me. Amen. Jesus, remind me once again, join Join as much as your heart's called for it, so you can start to speak that voice. Let that voice move through you. Listen to it. You know you can hear it, and speak. He's reminding me about the recordings too, recording your voice, and we'll record for those that are willing to have sessions or join with me, or you can record them. And so you can go back and be reminded, and so that we can extend these, like Teresa's recording. And we're not trying to prove anything. Does the light have anything to prove? It's just in a form of extension. See, we're just extending the demonstration that the light's available to all. And it reinforces in the mind that it is available. And it's a reminder for us when we momentarily forget to talk to Jesus, that we can hear him so clearly. But we can ask him, Jesus, will you help me so I never forget to hear your voice and hear what the light says? He says, you are my voice. You are my voice. There's no one else to speak to. Let's find anything else that's worth speaking to other than infinite divine light that deserves our attention more. Can that be found in the light of divine being? Amen.